Hey y'all, it's Lady C, and we are back in the place to be. All right, y'all, and tonight we have got my stuff moving all around. We have got KFC, y'all. Yes, we got KFC chicken. I've even got some of the honey barbecue wings and the Tennessee hot. Can you guys see that? I got coleslaw. I got mashed potatoes and gravy. Got my biscuit. And I got my sweet peppers on the side. We are ready to party, y'all, because we have hit 100. Woo! These things don't even make noise. I got it from the dollar store. All it does is blow. It does not make noise, which I thought it did. Sorry, y'all. But we are here to celebrate that. We actually have 120 at this point. Yes, the family is growing. So we're gonna eat a little. I'm gonna tell my story, and we're gonna drink a little bit of the Zinfandel as a celebration. First, we gotta say our prayer. Then we're gonna get into a little bit of eating, and I'm gonna start telling you guys my story. Let's go. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for this food that you have provided for the nourishment of our body, Jesus. Please, Lord, bless my family and bless all my subscribers, my new ones and my ride or dies, Jesus. Lord, give us strength and health and let us go on to do great things. Amen. All right, y'all. So first, before I start telling the story, we're going to get into some of this food right here. I always mix my foods. I don't care. Sorry if there are people who don't like that. That's the coleslaw and the mashed potatoes and gravy, y'all. Mmm. 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 That's something good. Okay. Let me get a bite of the chicken before I start talking. Mmm. Mm. 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 Y'all. Ooh, trying to pour my wine. And you see, I got my Halloween kitty cat shirt on, because Halloween is a-coming. And I got my fall cup. So we're just gonna pour our Zinfandel. Just a little. Okay, that's a little. That'd be enough for everybody. We're gonna share. Yes, that's to the 100. All right. Now, I wrote my notes down, you guys. So if you see me looking back and forth, I'm not trying to look away from you, but I'm trying to make sure I'm covering everything in the story. Hold on. Look, hold your mule. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. I was born on December 25th, hence my first name, which is Christina. I was actually born in a little town called Elkton, Maryland, in a small little hospital. I'm from Newark, Delaware. Delaware's in the house. And Elkton is right over the line. So that was the hospital my mother ended up in. I was born on Christmas, hence my name, Christina. I was born premature. I only weighed about 2 pounds when I was born. Can you believe it? I've recovered from all that. I weighed about 2 pounds. Oh. My father said when I was born, I could fit into the palm of his hand. And you know, back then, which I'm not giving up any years, y'all, not telling y'all my age. Nowadays, you have a 2-pound baby. I mean, they have a really good chance of making it. Back then, a 2-pound baby in a little hospital, they thought it was like a death sentence. So the minister came in to give me my last rites and everything. And my grandmother and my mother just went off. The doctor said, no, this baby's strong. She's going to live. And I did. Basically, it was up to me. You know, I guess they didn't have, whatever. They were like, they couldn't do what they could do. But I made it. My mother was 39 when I was born, so a little bit later in age. She already had 4 children before she had me. I'm the youngest. And my father was probably like 40, 41, something like that. So, you know, I was born, all that good stuff. Let me see what I had to tell you. Oh, because I was the youngest, I had a brother, actually 2 brothers. Also had a stepbrother, 2 stepbrothers. My oldest brother by my mother was 19 when I was born, and he already had a child. And so did my stepbrother, my oldest stepbrother. So I ended up being the auntie to 2 children that are older than I am. So I have 2 nieces that are about between 1 and 2 years. Well, they're actually 2 or 3 years older than I am. So I'm an auntie to 2 nieces that are older than I am. I always thought that was kind of cute. And they always got a kick out of calling me auntie, you know, since I was younger than they were. What else? My mother was sick, excuse me, for a lot of my life. She had, you know, some type of kidney condition. So she was on dialysis. And because of that, you know, when in African American community, I know when someone is sick, they usually, you know, keep you out of the room, you know, keep quiet, you know, things like that. So I didn't really, I don't really remember, excuse me, because there's one, interacting with my mother a lot. You know, I would peek in her room, and my grandmother then would shoo me away. So a lot of times it was my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, and my sister and my dad that took care of me majority of the time. And that was fine. I didn't feel any different. I never really felt like it affected me in any way. I just didn't know any different. My grandmother took care of the house. My dad was there. My sister combed my hair and basically usually took care of me. My sister is about 14 years older than I am. So she took care of me most of the time. And my grandmother cooked and cleaned and things like that. My grandmother stayed at the house with us the majority of the time while my mother was sick. Let's see. You know, it was kind of weird on like, when it was like, well, let me just say it this way. My mother had a kidney, I told you she had a kidney condition. By the time I was 7, she passed away when I was 7. So my mother passed away at 7. I can't really say that, I'm not gonna say I wasn't sad. I did not really feel anything because I didn't really know my mother. I know this is gonna upset my family members when they hear this, but I didn't really get to know her. I was probably closer to my grandmother, my father, and my sister. So as long as they were there, I felt safe. You know, I felt supported. I felt like everything was going to be okay. I knew my mother had passed away and I was sad, but I felt like, okay, I got a support system. I'm good. My mother passed away when I was 7. So when my mother passed away, my grandmother, I still live with my father. My grandmother basically came in, and she came in and out of the house. She would come in and cook and clean for my father and me and my brother. Excuse me, I had a brother that was close to my age, about 3 years older than me. And we both lived at home. My other brothers and sisters were older, so they were all off, you know, grown, doing their thing. At this point, or yeah. So my grandmother basically took care of us. She was in and out of the house. Her and my father didn't get along all the time because she was more strict. My grandmother had a lot of rules. Things should be done a certain way. You should go to church. You know, it just was she had a way of doing that. You should do things. My father, he kind of lived his life differently. He was fun. He liked to, you know, he would go to the Elks Lodge. He would, you know, play the horses. You know, he drank a little bit, worked every day. I never knew a day that my father missed. He went to work every day. So my grandmother didn't approve of that, and the 2 of them would go back and forth. But she still came every day, cleaned and took care of myself, my brother, myself. And, you know, that's how it went for years. I love my grandmother. She always took care of me. Then, when Mother's Days would come, oh gosh, I gotta eat too, you guys. Let me see. I'm sorry. I gotta get some food in. When Mother's Days would come, you know, in school they always had you making a craft or something to give to your mother. And the teachers, most of them, I mean, they didn't know. So I would take my little craft home. I would usually give it to my grandmother. And my grandmother, you know, she wasn't trying to hurt my feelings. But she would say, you know, I'm not your mother, you know. But I think the only reason she would say that is out of respect for my mother, you know. And I guess so I wouldn't grow up thinking she was my mom. So, you know, kind of bothered me a little bit, but, you know, it was fine. Then, so my dad took care of me. He was a lot of fun. He would take me everywhere he went. I mean, he'd take me to the horse track. He would take me to the Elks Club. He would take me everywhere I could go with him. He would take me. We were very, very close. He was just he was fun. You know, my dad just did a lot of things with us. He was one. He would come home. My father worked for the city of Newark, Delaware, where we lived, and he would come home and he'd have his lunch pail, and it would always have a tasty cake crimpet in there, something for us to eat on. He would give us candy bars. He taught me how to read using the newspaper. My dad was a big reader. He would read cowboy books. And he would bring us home every day when he stopped at the newsstand. He would bring us home, you know, like comic books. My brother would get, I don't know what kind of ones he brought my brother. Well, he would always bring me like Archie comics and stuff like that. So I loved Archie. He'd bring them home to me. And that's how I learned how to read. He kept us reading all the time. So, really close to my dad. He was special. I was in the Brownies, Girl Scouts. My father never drove. And neither did my grandmother. So whenever we went somewhere, a good thing we lived in a small town because we walked. Or my father usually, if I had to go somewhere, like to Brownie, you know, Brownie meetings or something like that, he would always arrange a ride. You know, call one of my uncles, my many uncles, or his friends that they were called my uncles. He would call one of my many uncles. They would give me a ride. So he always made sure I was taken care of. Love my dad. You know, it's a lot to that. You know, I think a lot of that, because I loved him so much, may have affected me when I got older in life. You know. Gotta drink water on that one out. When I turned 11, well, I was 11, my father had to go have a minor surgical procedure, have a bone removed from his throat. It was an outpatient procedure. He went in that morning. My sister took him. They had the procedure done, and he died on the operating table of a heart attack. Now that affected me. Ooh, it affects me now just thinking about it. I'm not gonna cry, but you know, when something, you know, you just think, I mean, that's why I tell people life is short. You do not know what could happen to you. You know, I'm pretty sure my father didn't wake up thinking he wasn't coming back home that day. And I didn't go to school thinking my dad wasn't gonna be there. You know, you just don't even think that things like that can happen to you. And I didn't think twice about it. I mean, that was one of the most devastating things that ever happened to me in my life. Because he was a big part of my life. And that was just devastating to me. I don't think, I took on my grandmother's traits probably of being a trooper because I held up really, really well. My older brother, the one that was close to my age, I don't think he did so well. His grades went down. But I think I was a trooper. Because my grandmother was a hard woman, and she just taught me to really try to suck it up and keep it moving. But I think it left me with some scars. So we're going to leave it at that today, because that's a lie. I done told y'all about my birth, being born premature, which was a lie. Made it out without any residuals, had no problems. My mother passing at 7, which is a lot for most kids. Then growing up with my support system, and my father passes away when I was 11. So that was the younger years. Part 1. I got to give this to you guys in parts because it's a lot to my life story. So I've already had 2 devastating acts by the time I'm 11. But I'm marching on, y'all. My grandmother taught me to be strong. So I'm still hanging in there, doing what I got to do. I mean, I still have my sister, who I really kind of thought of as my mother, and my grandmother, who, you know, was always there for me. I have my brothers too. But of course, they had their own families, you know. And they didn't know it. Only one of them lived in Delaware. The older ones. So it is what it was. I took it as it was, and I just kept on moving. But I will. We'll have to give you the middle years starting on the next video. You know, you guys know I'm having to have time to write this down. So hopefully it's in the next video. But that just gives you a little bit about me. You know, I'm born December 25th, so I'm a Capricorn. I don't know what the traits for that are. My girl Kendra probably can break it down for me. I don't know what the traits of a Capricorn are. So that's my story, y'all. These wings. These are the honey barbecue. Oh, these are good. I don't know about these those other ones. Those Tennessee don't look like they're going to be appealing to me. We'll see. Okay, so we're going to change the subject to something more upbeat. Can anybody relate to my story? Anybody else have their parents pass away at a young age? Come on and tell me about it in comments. I didn't grow up with a lot of kids that didn't have parents, you know, so it's kind of weird. you know, and you go to different functions and stuff like that, and and your grandmother goes. I mean, there were some kids, you know. I think I had kids that lived with their grandmother or could live with their grandparents, but their parents might have been alive. And growing up with my grandmother was, I'll tell y'all the rest of the story. Another day. That story takes a long time. My grandmother was not to be played with. Y'all, these honey barbecues are off the chain. But I'm a firm believer. Put a little bit more wine in the cup. I'm a firm believer that everything happens in life for a reason. That God has a plan for you, and that, I mean, you would think, oh gosh, Christine, you can't say that. But there it is. Later on in life, I kind of figured out what God's plan was and why these things happen to me. And I'll give that to y'all later. But I turned out okay. And it was just God's plan. And there's a reason for everything. I still firmly believe that. So if something happens in your life and you think it's so bad and it's so devastating, it might not be revealed to you right then, but it will be revealed to you later in life or at some point. That there's a reason behind that devastation. Because the Lord is saying something else to you. I'm telling you. He doesn't just do things for no reason. So, I'm a firm believer in that because of things that have happened to me since my parents have died. I'm just telling you that, you know, that they led the way, that those devastations led the way for other things in my life. I loved them, and I would take them back in a second. But God said it was time for them, you know, to be with Him. So how can I question that? Y'all, this food is good too. I also want to go back and thank everybody. I was in the live with Kendra. I don't know what the Kendra's last name is. Giles? I think it's Giles. And I met a lot of people there, and they just, you know, so cool and came and subscribed to my channel. And I thank every single solitary one of them. They know who they are. I just think the YouTubers should just, you know, we have to support each other like that. And I might start trying to do some lives because it was really fun. It was a lot of fun to talk to everybody. Just too funny. You know, if you get nothing else out of this, out of this YouTube thing, at least you gained a bunch of friends. We have to all get together. I know people talk about going to VidCon and all that, but I'm talking about like a local thing. I see a lot of the West Coast mukbangers getting together, you know. We have to do something where the East Coast gets together. You know, like Maryland, Delaware, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, you know. We all meet up in a location just so we can see everybody. I'm throwing that idea out there. I challenged one of my mukbangers to bring it to light. I'm in Maryland, so we could do something like Meet the Maryland Mukbangers. Or just something East Coast and meet in a, you know, in the middle somewhere. Okay, I put it out there. I'm not a planner, so whoever can take it to fruition, I'll be looking for it. All right, you guys. Excuse me. Woo. Those wings are a little hot, y'all. I don't want to stay on here too long. I just want to give you guys my story. That's my story. I'm going to give you the rest of it in some parts. Might not be the next video. Got to get it all thrown out. But it'll be, I'll have it, you know, I'll be giving you guys that story in bits and pieces. My KFC is good, y'all. This chicken is really good. I'm scared to eat this part right here. I don't like that Tennessee hot. Oh, that's nasty. Ooh, y'all. On that note, we're done. Ooh. It's got a weird flavor to it. Ooh, ugh. Okay. Honey barbecue, yes. Regular chicken, yes. The Tennessee hot, no. That's a no for me. Everything else I can eat, but not that. I love y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget, y'all. Again, like I always say it again. Stay healthy, stay happy, and always stay hungry. Love y'all. Good night.